When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport, and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome. Thanks for getting your pot on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. Danny's here. Lots of things to talk about, Danny. Lots of things that I have to be careful because I don't want to go into certain areas, but there is from the where you and I met. Where did we meet?
You and I met actually at, are you talking about like the first time ever?
Yeah, what business did we
Oh,
meet?
the radio.
Yeah, radio.
I thought you meant the actual event because I can tell you that.
I don't know what it was.
So Rich the Ram fan was hosting this event at the Harrow East.
Okay.
It was a 50-50 show. It was in January, and it was a fundraiser. And Tommy goes, bro, who has a fundraiser 3 weeks after Christmas? Everybody's broke, bro. And you and I met that night because Rich invited me. I didn't work for CMF at the time.
I don't know.
And you and I talked for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how we actually met.
Okay. Look at that.
Yeah.
But there's lots of people that I have met throughout my career. Some I have admired a lot. And I don't want to get too deep into this because I don't know all the parameters. But a guy that I had talked to, I just came across his phone number in my contacts from radio. Had a very successful radio show for a number of years.
Oh.
And abruptly left said show in the fall. Just abruptly left.
Just got up and just no more.
No more.
No, and no word, nothing.
No word as to why, anything. I had tried to reach out. There was a lot, I think, happening in this person's life. Again, I don't want to get too deep, but David Ace Cannon, is dead. He died. He's 56 years old. He died yesterday.
Oh, my.
Yeah, I saw it.
Was he the tall guy or the short?
Tall guy.
So he was the guy with the goatee?
Yeah, and the red hair. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was a big fan. And when I was looking to buy the show and own the show.
He was the guy you talked to.
Yeah, a lot.
Weren't they supposed to come up with like a board game?
Yeah.
Like we played it on the show, like name characters.
Yes.
Of like certain songs. And at the time, the guy who you used to work with and for was on the bench. He couldn't speak. And his producer, Billy Dettori, would quietly email you, don't tell Weeze, but here's about 10 more songs that you could. And we played the game and we would give away tickets. And you could name like, who was found in Uncle Tom's cabin or something like that. Or, all those games like that. They made it into a game.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They were very, very creative. And Ace had left the show abruptly. And I know that he had gone through an awful lot. He was married and had a couple kids, divorced. The kids were in their 20s. Daughter got into a car accident at 21 and died. Had started Peyton's Promise as a charity. They were based in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Then they used to joke, I wish this was Atlanta.
Yeah, and they did all kinds of, but they were syndicated and they owned it and they did all this stuff. And then I think they were doing afternoons for a while. I don't know what happened. And then he just left with no real warning. And then he had remarried. And here's the thing, fellas, if you get to about my age and you divorce and you're used to having someone around and you find someone and you have a great time and they got a lot of energy and things seem to really click and they're maybe, 10, 15, 20 years younger than you, well, you got a whole new life coming, a whole new family. And there are many guys that we can all see. I remember my mother going to the playground with my niece and nephew and saying to my brother-in-law, wow, look at all these grandfathers with their kids. He goes, no, those are their kids. Second marriage. Ace, too, has a 1-year-old son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and but was going through, I believe, a second divorce or trying to.
That's the flip side of dating someone 10, 15, 20 years younger.
But had already gone through the divorce, right? Now, a couple years, now he, lost the daughter, had been remarried. I don't know. I know when he left, he said, I'm trying to figure things out and be a better father and be this, be that. I don't know.
We don't know the cause of death.
We don't know the cause of death. It's not said. However, I am going to, and I will say this because maybe somebody else will do it too. Maybe somebody else will say, hey, I heard Bill Moran talk about doing this. You should do it first. BJ Shea had put on on social media that the mental health part of our industry is not looked after. And I have a problem with that statement, the way it was stated, and I'm paraphrasing, because I don't know that it's that. I think that, there are many people that have a lot going on, but there is something to in our own mind where you lead a pretty charmed life when you're successful in the entertainment industry, even at the local level. You have a charmed life. I had memberships to places I never paid for. I had cars that I never paid for. I had dinners that I would go places. I would go to bars. That's the kind of charmed life. So I don't know when that goes away. It could be difficult. I'm not sure that that's the case with Ace. I don't know. I'm just saying that I think that's what BJ is referring to, because he himself is out, and I know a little more details than he even knows I know about that, but that has nothing to do with anything. So,
there's a lot of avenues I can go with that.
Yeah, I know. So I'll just leave it there because I don't know, and I don't want to say anything, but I'm assuming it may have been self-inflicted.
I will say this. There was one radio company I worked for, not the one that you and I worked for together. You and I worked for it at different times. And I had a general manager at the time. You never worked for, I think you knew her, Karen Carey. And when I worked at WHM, it was then Clear Channel. If somebody had some real issues and it got around the office, she would actually go to that person.
She was wonderful.
She would go, hey, listen, we have counselors for this.
Yeah, she was wonderful.
And we were like, what?
Yeah. She was
like, she would offer help, legitimate help for you if you had that issue.
Yeah, you could do that through the health insurance. She was wonderful.
She was awesome. I think she's at Utica now.
Somebody mistook her for my fiance.
Oh, wow.
When I was first engaged, and walked up to her and goes, hey! And gives her a big hug, and she's standing there like, I don't know who that is. And I go, oh.
I've had people I had a guy the other day. Hey, tell Billy I said hello. I knew he looked familiar, but I don't remember who he was.
Sure. But this was a person that you know. Yes. You didn't know him at the time, but it was like on CFF walks up and goes, hey, and spits out my fiance's name and leans in for a giant hug, and I'm just standing there going, not the person, bro.
No, not the deadhead.
No.
Another
person that I admired is somebody that many people probably aren't familiar with. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Ace either, but Rich Schleiber. I always see Rich's name wrong. Rich, I always admired from afar. He was part of Kid Craddock's show for a while. Then he wound up in Boston, and for a long time, he was part of the Toucher and Rich show in Boston. They were number one on the Sports Hub eventually. I think they were on whatever the rock station was.
Yeah, because Boston used to be a big baseball town. Yeah. And then when the FMs came in to do sports, they said, we're going to concentrate on the NFL, and that's all you're going to talk about. They're like, wait, what? We're not going to talk about the Red Sox? But it worked.
Yeah. Rich did wonderful things. I found him to be very creative and funny. And he had another weird thing that happens in radio. You work with somebody for a long time. They had different agents. They decided not to negotiate together. A friend of ours somebody I had known, Kevin Carlson from Carlson McKenzie, winds up on the classic rock station in Boston.
Friend of you and Kevin.
Yeah. And Kevin recently died.
Not
Carlson, Kevin, not our friend Kevin. Carlson.
Yes,
Kevin Carlson.
Yes, Kevin Carlson.
Kevin Carlson died. And so as a result, I think they stopped doing that show. Rich then leaves the Sports Hub in Boston and goes by himself to ZLX. It's owned by a big media company. Might have an iHeart before the term media. They go through and do massive layoffs, and I want to say 6 to 9 months into a show, he doesn't have a show anymore. Really, really, really funny and creative guy. Used to do that. No. No. This one's good. This one's okay.
Okay.
So Rich would do things like when he was at the Kid Craddock show, they were looking for a bugler at a they were holding bugler auditions at the racetrack in Dallas.
Okay.
For the, to start the races.
Yeah.
So Rich went out.
He tried out.
Yeah. And they filmed the whole thing, and he's like, and he does awful. He goes, hang on, let me try again. And he goes like, it was really funny. Then he did another bit, one of the ballsiest bits, I will tell you. They used to set it up that somebody was having, I think it was Dallas was in the Super Bowl. So we're going back to like the early 90s, might have been against the Bills. Well, anyway, it was Super Bowl. And they would set it up through the morning show. Like if you were hosting the party, Dan, we would set up. I would come in, okay, and I would have like a secret recorder because they used to sell pens with a microphone in it, and we would have those for radio and stuff. And Rich would be that, and he'd have cable or something on, and they were sent out checking for illegal boxes, cable boxes. So you're going back a couple of years. And what he would do is walk in, and at a peak moment in the Super Bowl, he'd unplug the TV. And then they'd leave it. And then they'd play the audio back of the party, but the host of the party was in on it. But like he almost got, like one guy wanted to punch him at one point, you know, all this stuff. And then
how much money I got on Big D?
When they were doing,
it's like Bathtub Billy's.
When they were doing when they did the Sports Hub in the morning, and it's still the Sports Hub with Toucher does a unbelievable number for radio in Boston, like really big, like with men, like over a 20 share. And Rich used to go out, and they would have the drunken Boston Red Sox recap, and he would find drunk fans leaving the game and have them recap the game. It was really funny, like that kind of stuff. So Rich, who is not affiliated,
Sox were terrible. They were effing terrible today. Pedro had nothing.
So Rich, who I don't believe has any show right now, is down at
he's at the Super Bowl.
At the Super Bowl, and he has asked some questions at the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
And he's on YouTube, and it is Rich Schleiber, Schleiber. If you'd like to go check it out, I've been a huge fan of this guy. Met him briefly once or twice, just from afar. Very creative, and I will say there has been a lot of speculation as to the favoritism of the refs to the Kansas City Chiefs. Here is Rich.
Hey, it's Rich, and we're here at Super Bowl opening night, and we got some questions that need to be answered.
Patrick, for your whole career, you have had so many great people help you win. So who is your favorite ref?
Okay.
I saw this.
Yeah, you saw this.
Yeah.
This is Rich. That's Rich.
Yeah.
That's him. The guy, like, that's ballsy.
Yeah.
And don't
because even I'm cringing like, oh my gosh, he really asked.
He really asked. He has the fucking balls of steel. And here's the thing. You will run into pompous sports fucks that get so mad. And two people just popped into my mind that I knew for a while and had at my house. They were in my home that they would go fucking ape shit if a reporter was if they were there and this was being asked. Oh, yeah.
That's funny. All the refs are great, man. All the refs are great. They do the best they can. We go out there and play the game the right way.
All right. So, all the refs are great. That's what he asked Patrick. Then he follows up, Patrick, with this question.
Is there one that you give a Christmas card to every year, possibly?
Not that I can remember. I'll have to talk to some of my teammates and we've got to figure it out.
Travis.
So Mahomes played along.
Yeah, he played along.
He did. He gave it some stuff. He even gave it a chuckle in the beginning, and that's
Patrick's got a sense of humor. He's a good kid.
Here's Travis.
Travis, what do you love more, Taylor Swift or phantom 15-yard roughing the passer penalties in the playoffs?
That's a good question. Anybody else?
Good question. Anybody else? And I think somebody yells out, "Get rid of that guy!" Like some other reporter.
The PR people.
It could be whatever.
It could be another reporter. Probably is.
But that was Rich. Now, to that end, I will ask this question: if officiating is so fair, why does it feel rigged? Why does it feel that way to many people? Now, here's just an interesting thing, Danny. As we approach the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs on the brink of history, making it a three-peat, never happened in the NFL before. On February 4th, exactly 5 days before the Super Bowl, that was yesterday, Super Bowl 59 matchup, Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. The NFL Referees Association released an official statement blasting these conspiracy theories as, quote, insulting and preposterous. The NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero shared the full statement. Okay, now let me just give you I'll just give you the gist. The quote is this: the NFL Referees Association. I'm just going to read the beginning of it. The union representing all NFL officials appreciates the NFL commissioner's comments yesterday about our members' unwavering dedication to fairness and in maintaining the integrity of the game. The press release began before quoting the NFLRA executive director, Scott Green. Now, here's the thing. The NFL Referees Association tried to shut down the conspiracy about favoritism toward the Chiefs. But did they just confirm everybody's fear by doing it? Aren't you better off saying nothing? The NFL commissioner made a statement. He talked about it. We're done.
Then
these guys have to go and open their fucking mouths.
Right.
And fans have been calling out suspected favoritism for years. We've seen that. And the league has basically said, trust us. Did they not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anytime you hear what I like to call convincing language or Johnny Cochran words
Yes.
in a statement like preposterous.
Yes. It stinks.
I smell smoke.
I'm sorry. And
It's ridiculous and preposterous.
are the refs full-time now? Are refs full-time?
No,
They're not.
there's a handful that are.
Okay. So we do have full-time
but
refs.
it's not. But most of them are not. These guys are lawyers.
Yes.
Which may be why this statement was made, because lawyers like to write statements. All due respect to the ones who
No,
advertise
I
the show, but
understand.
that's
Yes.
what lawyers do.
Yeah.
Doctors.
Yeah.
These are people whom are vetted by the National Football League just to avoid this problem altogether.
But
In other words, you have a lot to lose.
Okay, but my point is there are some that are full-time refs.
Yeah, but like a handful.
Okay.
It's not many.
So we have full-time refs, we have better technology, and there's so much money in play.
Right.
And this is why I keep saying that you've got to do a better job. You're going to see more things being called, and I think it's going to be tighter on the NFL specifically because it's harder at times, i.e., example,
Mhm.
the Bills Chiefs first down call, whether they got it or not. I can't sit here and say they absolutely did. I can't, but I also can't sit here and absolutely say they didn't. So I think for bettors, they're really going to be trying to do that, because the thing is, why are we still seeing game-changing blown calls?
Well, here's
You've got full-time refs,
Right.
technology, and still game-changing calls.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist,
Mhm.
Bill. I know that I get painted as one on this show, but I'm really not. I've been
Who would ever paint you as that,
I've
Dan?
been right.
I
Yeah.
don't think you'd make it that up.
TB 12 ounce, maybe.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, I was experimenting with AI to pick football games just to see what would happen.
Really?
Yes. And I wrote an article for the Times of Wayne County, how the AI feels about the Super Bowl.
Huh.
Okay. It's going to run Saturday. I ran the question, who will win the Super Bowl? I asked Copilot,
Mhm.
which is Microsoft. I asked ChatGPT,
Yep, which is OpenAI.
and I asked, what was the third one?
Claude?
No. I didn't ask Claude. Gemini, which is Google.
Okay.
I asked those three. I didn't ask anybody else. I don't have Apple. I'm not an Apple guy. And they gave me three different answers. ChatGPT actually ran simulations for me.
Really?
Gemini wouldn't go that far. And Copilot was like, what do you think?
Oh, okay.
So you could tell by who's pulling the strings to what as to how the question should be asked, because of course they're going to be asked everything. It's AI, and AI could get stuff wrong too. Like ask them any sports question that and they get the answer wrong. So it's not foolproof, right? Earlier this year, I asked who was going to win a game between the Saints and Washington, and it said that the New Orleans Saints won the game, that the New Orleans Saints won the game 27-21 or something like that. I look at the spread. The spread's 6.5 points. Washington laying the 6.5, giving that to the Saints, right? In that game, Washington's got its back to the end zone. The Saints are driving, and the clock mysteriously stops with 6 seconds left, and nobody knows why, because the officials signal for it, but there was no reason to call a timeout. They end up getting in the end zone. They go for 2, but they miss. Washington hangs on. But with the spread,
Yeah.
the score was covering the spread. So anybody who bet on Washington
Covering the
to
spread.
cover the spread lost the game
Yeah.
because New Orleans was given that extra time to get in the end zone.
Yeah.
The going for 2 was irrelevant.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, did ChatGPT know, or did one of these know what was going on beforehand?
Yeah.
So what it does is it pulls like predictions from people.
Sure. From everywhere.
From everywhere. That's what
Yeah.
it does. But the point is, though, is that it does make you wonder. And Mike Florio brought up an idea that's not a new one. It's from the UFL. And I think Matt Reese has discussed it on the show. If you watch a UFL game in a couple of weeks, when the UFL comes back, or when it does come back. NFL, the former head of officiating, Dean Blandino, is running live replay for every single game.
Mm-hmm.
So when they have to challenge a call, he goes, "Okay, guys, here's the play on the monitor. Let's review it." And he will go in real time and review the call, and he will determine whether or not that play should be upheld or it should be reversed.
Mm-hmm.
The call should be reversed. Why can't the NFL do that?
I
just for the sake of avoiding.
Here's the thing.
Any talk
you
of
just
tampering.
heard Patrick Mahomes and Travis,
guys, I don't think that's the
Travis
case.
Kelce. They are fed up with these accusations.
Oh, Kelsey's got like no personality.
But
He's a total phoney. But at least Patrick like played along.
But does the NFL's handling of this make their dynasty look suspect? Would people
only when
question
people
their
stop
success if
watching,
the officiating didn't look so suspect?
Only when people stop watching and playing and gambling. Here's the other thing too: the NFL is in bed with the gamblers.
Yeah,
the NFL has the owners have money in DraftKings, in FanDuel.
Yeah.
So now they're controlling the strings on both sides.
That's what I've been.
Here's what's going to happen: somebody like Trump's going to get ticked off, and he's going to issue an executive order. I want a full investigation, and they want to avoid that. The NFL wants to avoid that, but the NFL has had cases like this before, and the NFL's argument. And this is the scary part. You can look this up. The NFL's argument from their lawyers is always, "We're just entertainment, man."
Well, okay. All
that's pro wrestling.
All right, so that's my question. But if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl and they do something nobody else has ever done in history, is their legacy forever tainted?
No.
Okay.
People will forget.
If they lose the Super Bowl, will it just add fuel to the fire that the NFL wanted a different champion?
People will be so excited they won't even care. By the way, you heard it here first. Philly's going to win that game.
Okay. Here's my thing. Are we witnessing, to your point, the evolution of sports entertainment where narratives drive the product? Or does the NFL have bad PR? And that's what I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping it's bad PR. I'm hoping that the refs' egos got in the way and they decide to release a statement that was unnecessary and actually looks more accusatory than it, The
NFL has always had bad PR. It's never stopped people from watching him. Everybody hates the commissioner.
Right.
Everybody hates the commissioner in every single league. Do you realize that the NFL, when Roger Goodell was hired and he took over for Paul Tagliabue, the knock on Tagliabue always was he's milquetoast. He doesn't take a stand. He doesn't punish athletes. So in walks Goodell. I'm the new sheriff in town. Jamestown, New York's own. And he started suspending pretty much half the Cincinnati Bengals roster for stupid stuff. Remember the Bengals, the orange?
Yes,
they wore prison uniforms. That was the big joke. And he got applauded for it.
Yeah.
Then the Adrian Peterson incident happens. Yeah. And then you had the incident with the running back from the Ravens there. I'm blanking out here. Lewis, right? Yeah. And then the video comes out. Not Ray Lewis, the other one.
Yeah, I know who you mean, and I'm forgetting.
I'm blanking out. But the point, the kid from Rutgers. But the point is that then when the video came out, then it became a 6-game suspension, and he was pretty much toast, persona non grata. Now the NFL, Goodell's not a good. He's not a good commissioner anymore. But that's never stopped people from watching and betting on football.
You got it. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
It comes down to money, but it does make you start to think that it's
the most watched television show in America, and there's nothing even close.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Nothing close. Nothing close.
All right, we'll take a moment. The dogs are here. We will find out what they're up to this coming weekend. And today is a very special
Ray Rice was the guy.
Ray Rice. That's right.
Yeah.
We have a very special day today that I can't wait to tell you about, and a day that you will not believe how historic it is. We'll get to all that right after this.
Gather around, y'all, it's that time of year. National Fart Day, let me make it clear. From ancient Rome to right now, right here, we'll celebrate the sound we all hold dear. Back in 44 BC, a soldier so bold exposed his backside, the tale now told. During Passover, he let it unfold. A riot started with a wind that rolled. Blow the horn, let's make some noise.
Come on, Danny.
Laughter's the best.
Little country. A little country today. Today is National Fart Day.
Wow.
And I just want you to know that from a historic part, a Roman soldier, this is true, you can look it up, 44 BC, bent over, dropped his drawers, and passed gas toward Jewish people celebrating Passover. And then said some derogatory things. And a riot broke out, and they started throwing rocks. 10,000 people died. Yeah, from that.
Wow.
For real.
For a fart.
Over a fart.
You don't mess with Passover.
Started with a fart. And then
You don't mess with Passover.
No.
Then there was Henry Ludlow, who farted during a debate at British Parliament. And there was a poem called The Censure of the Parliament Fart. That was in 1607. In 1781, Benjamin Franklin wrote an essay called Fart Proudly. He wanted to know, since asparagus could make your pee smell funny, why couldn't we find something to make our fart smell better? Then there was this guy.
Well, necessity is the mother of an invention.
Yeah, I mean, they went so far as at Moulin Rouge, there was a guy who could basically suck in air through his anus and then blow it out. He would blow out candles. He made more money than most people performing over
the
there.
cameo of his day.
Now that's talent.
And then let me just say this. This is true. You can look it up too. World War II.
The pedal of the bulge.
Hitler had a had a vegetarian diet.
Yeah, he was a vegetarian.
And he went to his scientists and said, "Is there anything you can do? Because I have terrible gas and all this stuff." So they started
Is
giving
this in
him,
Valkyrie?
they started giving him pills for real.
Okay.
And they would put very, very trace amounts of cyanide and another poison in there because it would help settle his stomach and it kind of balance things out.
Wow.
The problem is that according to history books that I've read, and I remember this from college, he was taking about 150 a day. And there are those that believe that because of that, and it was trace amounts in each pill, but now we've got a large amount that was adding to his instability. Whether or not that's true,
Could be.
I don't know, but that was always the speculation. And then the longest fart, the Guinness Book of World Records, is 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
Wow.
I know.
That's
That's
absurd. Absurd.
I can't wait to go home and tell my family.
Well,
this.
but
They're gonna be so
hang on.
impressed.
See, like we can talk about farts and we can think, wow, really base humor. But you got historical facts, and here's the problem with history that they teach us in school: they were people, and all we get are the Instagram highlights. I want the dirty. I want the real shit that went on. You know what I'm saying?
Literally, right?
Yes, literally.
For sure.
I want the real stuff.
You want
that
the
went on.
documentary.
I want the documentary. I want to know all that stuff. And then in 2008, National Fart Day was born.
Wow, this is the first I'm hearing
Wow.
of this.
February 5th.
Thank
Can't
God.
you see Ben Franklin? You said Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
I could see Ben Franklin as a guy who would have that problem.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know why.
Well, you saw Ben Franklin, and it was always amazing because Ben Franklin was very popular with the ladies in France.
I see.
Yeah, like
Oh,
he was. Yeah,
He had very, very
he had
interesting life.
syphilis and all kinds of things. He would go to France, and he was like an ambassador. And those are the best parts of history when you could actually learn that stuff.
By the way, like, do you realize how much older Ben Franklin was than the other founding fathers? The other founding fathers were like in their 20s and early 30s. He was like in his 50s. Like he was way older. He was like the grandfather
That's
of the
like,
room.
That's almost the end of the line back then.
Oh,
It
for
is.
sure.
Yeah.
And I think he went to 76.
Yeah,
years
I think so,
old,
yeah.
some maybe 80s.
In The Sopranos, they even think he was a president. I'm not joking. There's a line where Big Pussy goes, President Franklin's in that stack.
The dogs are here. There's a big event to help out our friends at Autism Up. It's Friday night at Nashville's, correct?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. No, you would have gone. No,
No,
it's at this year.
I
We did
apologize.
do a really fun event with them
Yes.
at Nashville's last year. Have a great relationship with Jeff and team at Nashville's.
Jeff's a great guy.
Yeah, this
Great American.
particular event though is at where we also have an awesome relationship with the owner, and that's Dave Bunce at Buncey's. So,
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Right.
got
Another
it.
great American.
Yep.
the other thing, just to get this out, is that not only is it a great location and a great organization we're partnering with, but this is a happy hour show. So, it's a 6 to 9 show.
Yeah.
Those are
That
great.
If you want to get in and get out, or you got somebody else you want to see later in the night,
Mhm.
you
See,
rock with us.
here's what I feel bad about. Followed up a lot, asked me if I could do it, and then I find out that there's a makeup basketball game for my son, and it's the last one for him to play because he's going back to see his mom over winter break, and he won't be here for the Valentine's Day game on Friday the 14th. So this was it, and I'm like,
Yeah, man.
I felt terrible. But
You
I'm
know
like,
what?
I
We'll,
gotta-
as they say, the show must go on.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
So,
yes.
You're gonna get Dave behind the drum kit. He used to play drums, you
yeah.
know.
We
Oh,
got-
yeah.
We usually drag.
Should
him
raise
up
some
for-
money to get him back behind the kit.
Yeah. But
Yeah, he comes
he'll
back there
pay.
every once in a while.
Yeah, he does.
He
That's
loves
great.
going back there.
Mm-hmm.
He'll make it seem like it's a hassle, but he.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't.
Rich,
I gotta cook. Okay, all right. One song, and it's "We Will Rock You."
Yeah, he's great though. He's awesome. So supportive, honestly.
Mhm.
Well, that's a lot of fun. It's always fun. I got to tell you, like, I was so impressed when I saw the dogs last year, like how just the energy, the outfits that you come out in, how you get the, and then you change. There's a,
Sometimes we
Hey.
do.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was it's a
Costume
whole thing.
change.
Yes.
That's
I mean,
right.
yeah, but there was a lot of energy, interactive, big screens. I
Yep.
was like, man, this is something.
Thanks to you guys, Men's Warehouse is still open.
That's right.
Those blue tuxedos with the ruffles.
Yes.
You don't get those anymore.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, it's meant to be entertaining, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're not going to impress anybody with our haberdashery, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah.
Haberdashery. Yeah.
yeah.
There you go.
But it's meant to be fun. So
Yes.
yeah, matching outfits and the screens and all that.
This is a
stuff.
great way to kick off your Friday night.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then help out Autism Up as well, which is a great organization in the community that has done such great work. And it's funny to watch, not funny, but it's interesting to have watched them grown over the years. It was 4 moms having coffee, just trying to figure out how can they help their kids
Yeah.
and how difficult it was. And they were sort of leaning on each other. And out of that came something where they offer social skills and all kinds of really, really great things that help
Support.
support the families and support even the siblings of
Because
kids.
now it's
with
like 1 in
autism.
33 kids. When you and I were growing up, it was maybe 1 in 1,000.
Mhm.
Now it's
Yeah.
like 1 in 33.
Is that a diagnosis thing, or is that really a problem growing?
I don't know. That's a great question. Because I
Yeah.
can think back and go, yeah, there were a couple kids I would have
Well,
thought that were on the spectrum,
I
right?
nev-
That we would have said.
Well,
but
I remember like watching the NFL on Sundays, and Dan Marino's on there.
yeah.
And the United Way had these commercials. He goes, "We found out our son was autistic," and I go, "Dad, that's great, isn't it? He's artistic." And he goes, "No, that's not what that means.
Yeah.
Autistic." I go, "What does that mean?" And my father was like, "I can't really explain it
yeah.
Mhm.
because I don't. It's hard to explain." But he goes, and then Doug Flutie's son.
Yeah.
So those are the first 2 people I ever knew, and we're talking like from like 87 to like when he came to the Bills. We're talking like 98, 99. The first 2 people I ever knew who ever had autism,
Yeah.
and they were both quarterbacks' sons.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the century flips, and now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like my nephew was diagnosed with it at one point. He had something else. Bill, your son.
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, it became a bigger thing.
I think though, and you're in a much better position than I am to talk about this, but I wonder if organizations like Autism Up have helped to bring folks, work with students and brought them into the community. So maybe you're aware of them.
I think
But
I think
they're-
that's a big part of it for sure.
Mhm.
And I think also that there's more mainstreaming of
That's what I
kids who don't forget it's a spectrum. So you'll get, nonverbal kids who you probably didn't see as much in public schools as you do today, just for the inclusion and stuff. And so we've become more accepting and try to include that. There's a lot of great things that are going on. I have a friend who is the head of the psychology department over at St. John Fisher University, and he would say that autism, he wonders if it's part of evolution, to the point, because you look at it like Elon Musk will tell you that he was diagnosed with Asperger's. Asperger's is no longer recognized by the they're not. But it is certainly something that socially and awkward, and yet maybe hyper focus in one area, and you're a genius at that area, right? We used to call them savants, right? People like that. And so I don't know that it hasn't always been present, and we've just put it under a spotlight, and then maybe there is a little bit more as well.
Is there a reason they've done away with Asperger's as a diagnosis? Was it like insulting?
No, it was DMS-5. I don't know why.
Because I just found out today that Kurt Schilling has a form of Asperger's.
Yeah, probably.
Bill Gates has a form of Asperger's.
Yes.
So now it's like, oh, wait a second.
Well, but once they did it, people were saying that for years with Bill Gates. So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's always sort of been here. Now we just are hyper.
My family thinks I have it. I'm not joking. Like I'm not making that up. My family has I
could see that.
Well, this got deep.
My wife thinks I just
We're
misunderstood.
wearing red suits and jumping around doing YMCA in this conversation.
No, but it's a great thing. And my point is,
we want to intrigue people to come to your show.
But a lot of times, you go, why is my kid doing this, or why? And you can't figure it out. And it's trying to put that round peg in a square hole, the square peg in the round hole type thing. And I think for other parents to know, hey man, there's stuff here we can learn and accept and grow and realize that, sometimes too, we go, I'll say this, I don't know that it's Autism Up that does this, but you can go too far to trying to help where, you're giving the kid all these supports and that it's not really helping the kid. Right. And sometimes
you're enabling them in some ways.
Well, you got to
figure,
you got to figure things out on your own.
Yeah.
Like my son, who was Asperger's, lives by himself in New York City. Loves it. Why that was his dream to live in New York City. He saved up his money. He went down there. He did the interviews. He was a waiter, which was really tough in the beginning because of social skills, all that stuff. But if he didn't push it, right, and a lot of times you got to do it. That to me is what real self-esteem is, right? Real self-esteem is I did it and now I'm going to push myself further. And I did it and I did it. We talk about self-esteem with kids, and it's really important with kids on the spectrum. Like, how do I get them? I substitute teach once in a while, and I see kids that are pretty far on the spectrum, and they'll talk about, I hate school, I hate being here. And then you work with them, and once they feel like they got it, whatever the task was for the day, and I go, it's not just kids, it's everybody, right? It's everybody. Once you start lifting weight, you try, or you're trying to lose weight and you lose the 5 pounds, and then all of a sudden it's 10. You go, oh damn, I'm gonna look so hot on the beach this summer, baby. Woo! But it's just it's momentum, and you keep pushing. And I think that's some of the stuff that Autism Up does. And I think it's awesome that you guys are willing to volunteer your time and play and help them raise money.
You bring up a really good point though, in terms of helping raise awareness, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the night, we'll sit down and we'll count out some money we made, donation at the door, 50-50, maybe a raffle here or there. We'll sell a couple of dog shirts, whatever.
Yeah.
All goes in the pile, right? There's some money there. But I think the thing that we've learned over the years is that, it's sort of one is fundraising, 1A is helping them raise awareness. So we come into Buncey's, people might not have any idea what Autism Up is,
Right.
and now, to your point, there's a service or an organization
Yes.
that's doing what they're doing.
Yeah. And I will also say a lot of times these organizations are so kind of focused on their cause, right? Trying to run this organization or the nonprofit and make sure scheduling is done and all the administrative stuff. They're not fundraisers. They're not people who do that stuff. So to have a band that can come in and just kind of go boom, that's makes it really work. And that's what I think makes it fun, right? Because some of these events they can get kind of dry. They can get dry.
We try not to be dry.
But you're not dry. That's what I'm saying. But if without it, sometimes it gets dry. And so when you get up there and all of a sudden, man, it's like, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like
We've talked about that in the past too, where we said, it's not only a fundraiser for the cause, it's not only bringing awareness to that cause, but it's also giving those people the opportunity to have a reprieve from what they're dealing with every day.
Yes.
And hey, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have fun. We're going to be silly, and join us.
Here, let me just take that one step further.
Oh boy.
But no, because I think you said something really important. there are many times that the parents of children on the spectrum in particular, and I don't know anything else, maybe it's someone living with cancer and doing all that stuff, that they need a reprieve and a break. And yet the guilt you feel. So when you can get dressed up and go out and it's for Autism Up or whatever, you don't feel as guilty and you can kind of let your hair down. And socialization is extremely important for everybody. And I remember people saying a lot of times that, you know, we would call someone selfish, but if you're not taking care of yourself, how are you going to take care of that kid that needs you?
100%.
Right. So I think that that's a really, really good thing that you're saying. And I do think there's guilt from the parent side of it. It's like, you know, or one parent's got to stay home, one can't go. No, go have a great time.
Yeah.
And everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's all going to work out. And the dogs are going to make you forget, you know,
Right.
forget a little bit. Forget a little bit.
I know a guy. I know a guy who emceed an Autism Up event to miss my first wedding. And who won that one? He did. You're looking at Bill Moran right over here.
Right. Congratulations. Good move.
He calls me up at like 12:30 and I'm like, hey, Bill, what's going on? Hey, buddy, you sitting down? Yeah, I'm sleeping. What's up? Hey, I'm going to have to miss your wedding. I apologize. Jenna scheduled me to
This
MC
wasn't
it.
our event, right?
No.
This is back in like
this is
2014.
like,
I'm so sorry.
No.
It's what I'm sorry, Daddy. I didn't know. So you guys end up being the winners. So if you want to get out of doing something you don't want to do, like go to somebody's first wedding, go to the Autism Up event with the dogs on Friday night.
And have fun.
Yeah,
Have fun.
and get rid of the guilt.
Yes.
Get rid of the guilt for sure.
If nothing else, I think that
Leave it at the door.
You've right. You check it out. You've seen this, right?
Yeah.
One of the if nothing else, one of the things we try to do is lay on you a good time,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we've got some amazing musicians in this band.
You do.
But really what's more than that is trying to impart, you know, the party atmosphere.
Right.
And, you know, whether it's the goofy suits or the matching hockey jerseys or it's
I love it though. It's
upbeat.
Yes.
Yeah.
You walk in, you see the band, like, okay. You smile.
Yeah.
Everybody smiles. Like, okay, all right, I can
Yeah,
relax. I can let
That's
my hair down.
I always say if you have to go for the better feeling thought, right, in a moment. Sometimes the better feeling thought is anger over despair, but it's a better feeling thought, right, or revenge over something, right? And you can have that. And I go, when you walk in, sometimes you guys change the energy in a room. Like you really do. You make it make it fun. It is. It just, and so you can't be in a bad mood. It melts off you.
Right.
Now,
That's awesome.
you might walk outside and pick it up again. I'm not saying that, but for the little while that you're in there, you can't help it. You know, the music's great. You want to get out and dance a little bit. You go, let your hair down.
Yeah,
So
relax.
two things.
Yes.
Can we take a second and just like give you guys the landscape of who isn't in the room tonight, the rest of the band?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. You want to take the honors and talk about the rest of the clowns? Well,
Yeah, sure. So Steve's here and Chrissy, I'm here, and we're missing Lou Germano, who is our guitar player.
Oh, Lou,
our awesome
Yes.
guitar player, and also founder of the Dogs, along with Steve here. And we can't do anything without these guys. These guys they just make everything happen. We also are missing Dwayne Draper, who's our drummer.
yes.
And awesome.
D.
Yeah, Double D we call him, and he's a phenomenal drummer. Keeps the beat alive. And Professor, so Professor we're missing as well. He's our keyboard player. And that's it. Yeah. Well, what the other
Well, yeah. So
the other crew too.
The other thing is that, it's a great point. The other thing is that, you know, besides the five of us who do donate our time, have always done that. There's some folks that are along with us to make some of that stuff happen. You know,
Yeah.
video screens, the lighting,
Yeah.
and stuff.
and the
It's a lot.
sound guy.
And
Yeah.
they're all donating their time too.
Yeah.
So Joan Weidel is our video guy extraordinaire. Nick Koziel does lights and kind of some network connection kind of stuff, community network connection. And Gina Ford sells our merch. You know, if we sell a Dogs t-shirt at a show, that money goes right back to the organization we're working with. So those folks, and then of course, John Dretto from Maestro Management has been working with us for the last few years. And he's
Okay. He used to have the music.
yes, the music store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Music Lovers.
Music lover
He's
shop.
a phenomenal guy.
Yeah.
he's done a lot.
That's
for
very
us.
good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. It's Friday night, beginning at 6 at
6,
Buncie's, right
yes.
there in Webster.
Yep.
People know it, and there's always it's a great venue to see live music and go, and you're helping out a great cause. And one of the things I love about Autism Up, local,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Local.
It stays
so the
right
money
here.
stays local, and you are helping out, community.
People you know,
Yeah, people right?
or
Families,
you're
your
you're
neighbor,
1
could
degree
be your-
removed from
could
somebody.
be your neighbor, could be anybody, but it's a great thing. We will take a moment. Feel free to stick around. I have some more things for Danny, including one that I just have to check my notes.
Do you have that haiku we're gonna read? No,
not the haiku.
Okay.
No, what I have is I got
Josh
some
Allen haiku. No, okay, we're gonna save
No.
that for later.
If survival, Dan, got real, people,
They eat each other.
yeah, no,
Oh.
no grocery stores,
Uh-huh.
no takeout. Could you bring yourself to eat a beaver? And I don't mean
Yeah, I know what you. Yeah, I know.
I mean
right.
the animal. I mean
Yeah.
I mean the actual animal. Could you do it? They're trying to pass a law in a state to make it not possible. We'll get to all that right after this.
I can name that song in 1 second.
Yeah, I know you can. What
I love a rainy night.
Yeah.
I love
Come on
a
now.
rainy
Come
night.
on, Danny.
I love to hear the thunder, watch the lightning as it lights up the sky. Is this Eddie Rabbit?
Yeah.
Who makes me feel good? Your father used to sing this out loud.
Fucking knew it.
Sunday morning, shirt off, gray chest hair hanging out, mustache, no mustache,
Oh,
hair,
this is great.
hair dryer.
Did I not say this is going to take you back
Oh,
to
yeah.
your childhood? I knew it. I didn't know
Was
anything.
this 83 or was this
I
the
think this
70s?
is like 80.
Okay.
80, it's right on the nut.
Oh, I love a rainy night.
Eddie Rabbit, underrated.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
He was. I think he passed
Underrated.
away.
Yeah. He did pass away, and I don't remember when. I will look that up. Uh-huh.
Yeah, they used to play this on the country station.
Yes.
Even though I don't know that this is a country song, it's got country undertones.
Pop, yes, May 7th, 1998. Man, dude's been dead a long time.
Wow.
Yeah. The rabbit got run over. Well, that's the thing. So I asked the question, if
Uh-huh.
survival got real, no grocery stores, no takeout, could you bring yourself to eat a beaver? And the reason I say this is because they're trying to make a law, I guess, in Minnesota. And I would go down to the Irondequoit Creek here, and I'd be walking with my kids, and you would see like beavers, and beavers can be a nuisance. Now, one, they're a rodent, and when I say a nuisance is they can build a dam because that's just what they do.
Right.
Talk about the weirdest fucking thing.
I'll tell you what, a no-show
believe in
construction job.
But if you if you don't believe in something higher, right? That there's this animal that helps the forest, really,
Yes.
like gets the trees. You can walk down along the Irondequoit Creek, and you will see gnawed out trees just down to like you could push it over, like it's a toothpick holding it there. And probably they heard something and got scared. But they'll build dams, and then it floods. It can flood at times, and that's really problematic. So in Minnesota, they have a nuisance beaver ban right now. So
Are they rivals with Gophers? Because Minnesota, the University of Minnesota,
yes, the Gophers.
The mascot's the Gophers.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if there's some territorial rift going on.
I don't know about that.
And you got the Vikings. I mean, there's a lot going on there.
And of course, it's funny to say eat a beaver, but here's my thing:
Mhm.
you are allowed, if it's a nuisance beaver, you are allowed to kill it on your property. It's okay, as long as it's a nuisance. So if there's an overrun, like they have,
Do they have this on tape?
well, they have
Does it have to be
I don't
documented?
know, but they have the bait and shoot for deer around here, right? If it goes, so they have this
Eddie,
thing.
is that you again?
So
I told you the first time, a verbal warning, then a written warning, and the third time you get shot.
homeowners can still trap or kill beavers, damaging their property, but with this new law, they cannot eat them. They cannot eat them.
Those blue states.
Trapping otherwise during the designated season remains legal. So there is a hunting season for beaver. Hey, son, it's beaver season. We're going out. So you can go out.
Get your orange jacket. We're pulling you out of school. It's Wednesday. It's beaver season.
And so we're, so you can go and hunt beaver, and those you can eat. Son,
Okay.
you got your first beaver. Let's put our face right in that. And
Okay, you know what? I want to stuff this one. Can we get a second one? Do we still have time?
do you realize that a single beaver over its lifetime can eat like 100 trees, or kill or cut down 100 trees? I don't
You know
what?
what? You know what's funny? I do believe that because I was told growing up that every year we get a tree and a half of junk mail in our mailbox.
Yeah.
A tree and a half.
Yeah, a single beaver can cut down hundreds of trees annually, is what I'm saying, causing deforestation and flooding at times.
How about
right?
helping the paper mills, though? Where's the positives?
Yeah, well,
If
Yeah.
the beavers are cutting down the trees, I don't have to do it.
do it
I can
myself.
show up. I can just basically
Grab the tree.
Yeah, right. And then
But they're
punch the
trying to
clock at
drag
8,
it down
punch
into
the
the
clock
water.
back out at 5. Yeah, I did my job.
Minnesota trappers remove 20 to 30,000 beavers each year.
Okay.
So
I'm sure they have a good reason.
you know what it used to be? What are you going to do Friday night? I'm going to fuck like a rabbit. Now they're fucking like beavers in Minnesota,
I
apparently.
guess so.
'Cause that's the thing. So this senator questioned the logic behind banning the eating of nuisance beavers. All right. And this other guy goes, well, there's parasites and lack of research on beaver meat safety. And by the way, beavers are considered rodents.
Yeah, you don't want to eat a rodent.
They don't want to eat a
I think I
rodent.
was just reading about this in Deuteronomy this week. Yeah, they listed a bunch of animals. I didn't
Yeah.
see the beaver, but I did see the hare.
Okay.
So
That's a rabbit.
that's a rabbit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, let's be fair here. I think beaver's probably on the list. I don't think they saw those in Jerusalem, but let's assume it is.
So let's ask this question then. Gourmet or gross?
Gross.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
I hate to rain on anyone's
Those
parade.
who have tried it, they compare it to, what do you think?
Steak.
Yeah, beef. Well, I was waiting for you to say chicken because a lot of people always say it
tastes
tastes
like
like chicken.
chicken.
Yeah.
Like my wife recently tried frog legs.
Uh-huh.
And I go, what does it taste like chicken? Because actually, yeah, but a drier chicken.
A drier chicken.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
So kind of like the Christmas vacation
Yeah.
dinner. Yeah.
If I were drunk at dinner and I got frog legs, I would put them together.
I knew
I
you
would
would.
make it like,
Ah.
So it's just so juvenile and so dumb, and yet I
Revert back to
would have been so entertained by me, and this is why I'm no longer married. No,
someone at the table across me. Is that Tom Ulay over there? Remember Tom used to laugh at his own stuff?
yeah,
But it was always funny. That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah. Somebody else says it's nature's chicken nuggets, beaver.
Huh.
All right.
Well, look, I mean, at
I
least you're
thought-
getting it from the wild, right? They always say, if you're going to eat, stick to stuff that's one ingredient.
I think last night something came up, and I thought they used beaver gland in certain things. Like
It wouldn't surprise me.
you read something, and it's like whatever it's called, something else,
Jack
like propel,
Tattler.
propel, or
Was that
Jack-
the stuff that Ray Lewis was on during the Super Bowl? Everybody stopped the Super Bowl.
white rhino.
One hit of this, and you'll be able to bench 500 pounds with chicken arms.
Yeah. This other guy who is a local newscaster in Minnesota says it's gamey, but not terrible. Some say the tail of a beaver, when cooked correctly, tastes like bacon.
Don Elhart, News Source 13. It's gamey there, Doug.
I would never even think to eat the tail.
Well, I would think that's the first thing you'd eat because it's already flat. You can make a beaver burger. To me, it's like you get the cookie cutter out, bang. It's like one-stop shopping. Whereas the rest of the beaver, you got to like claw it. You got to
What are you
take
in
the
for?
guts
Eating
out.
beaver. So this guy wants to remove. So the debate continues. And here's the question. This is, and I'm dead serious. Should the government really be telling you what you can't eat in nature? I get certain foods, the FDA, I understand. But even if it's a rodent, if you're killing it, look, what's the grossest thing you've ever eaten that you know of? Like, and I say gross, it's subjective, or let's say most
that I
exotic,
know of.
exotic thing that you've ever
Well,
eaten.
most exotic. I ate octopus
Yeah.
a few times, and people looked at me like I was nuts.
Well, octopus is,
But, I mean,
calamari is more
yeah.
or less that.
But this was actual octopus.
Yes, different.
And people were like, you're crazy. I'm like, crazy. It's on the menu.
Yeah.
It was great.
Okay.
A little chewy.
Yes, it is.
But
I think I've had it
I
too.
think it was more like the texture than the taste so much.
Okay.
You know, but you put a little salt on that, and it's pretty good.
Did you ever eat something and find out later? Like, I remember being somewhere and my dad loading up on chili. He'd go, that is the greatest chili ever. And somebody goes, oh, it's venison chili. My father practically he was like, oh, volcanic.
Well, there were a lot of Jewish kids who grew up. They went to a friend's house, and their mothers found out that they had lunch. What did you eat? A ham sandwich. And their mother would like literally wash their mouths out with soap because ham isn't kosher.
Yeah.
You know, that's not an uncommon thing. I've never really I was a very fickle eater.
Oh,
Like I didn't eat fruit until I was like 25.
I have a funny feeling that you were on what I called when the boys were little, the beige diet. Anything that was beige. So it would be things like chicken nuggets, French fries,
rice.
chicken, rice. Yeah. The beige diet is what I called it.
Yeah, my father goes, no, if you don't want to eat, then that's all you're going to get.
Yes.
So you got a choice.
Right.
And sometimes I would choose to starve myself.
You would?
No, not really. But like when it came to fruit, though, I avoided fruit.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I hated barbecue. Now I love barbecue. But when I was a kid, I hated it. They say you lose taste buds over time.
I don't know about losing them as
Like
much
you have like
as I hear.
3,000 in your mouth or thousands in your mouth when you're young. And then when you get older, you get like less than 100.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's why you acquire more taste because you're just not tasting.
I
as
thought it was
much.
every 7 years your body
Could be.
molts.
I'm sure they'll come up with a new scientific method now that Trump's in office that will tell us something different. Okay,
rabbit would be a tough one for me.
I couldn't eat. I
'Cause
couldn't
like
do it.
rabbit.
Yeah,
You go into
I've never read it. I mean, other
you
than
go
like
to Europe, they're hanging right in the butcher shop, full rabbit, dead.
Oh wow,
by its feet.
Oh, no
You know,
kidding.
Yeah, you'll see that.
That's called Tuesday.
Snake. I don't know if I
couldn't do it.
Yeah, I might be able to eat snake.
See, I was told that I don't know if this is true. Maybe you know the answer to this. That you can eat eggs of any animal if you're starving. Any animal. If you see eggs, they're
probably.
always safe.
Yeah, I would think that's true.
It's when they hatch, all bets are off.
Well, it's you don't want to get there and have them developed. You want to get them early.
Yeah. You want to get them. Yeah.
You want to get them before they're fertilized and things are going.
Right. But holy cow. But yeah, the grossest thing I've ever eaten. I don't think I've eaten anything. If I did, I don't know what it was.
I've had ostrich. Good.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't mind that. Swordfish is not odd, but I enjoy that.
My father said he used to love when he was Catholic growing up, either Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. My grandmother would make eel sauce. He loved eel, and it was one time a year they got to have eel sauce. They couldn't have meat sauce because the Catholics change the rules every 15 minutes.
Yeah, they do.
So like he looked forward to it. It was very zesty. He said, "I've never had eel sauce, but I've eaten eel with sushi."
Okay,
it's all right.
I don't know. Yeah, I think I've had eel too. Super Bowl snacks coming up.
My wife's asking me. I don't know.
Oh, so I was looking at like menu. If you were to do strictly game, meaning beaver.
Okay.
All right. Buffalo wild turkey cheese dip. I could do that.
I could do that. Yeah.
I could do buffalo wild turkey cheese dip.
The wild turkey, the animal, or wild turkey, the drink?
No, wild turkey, the animal.
Okay, because some people do mix.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, whiskey
Maybe we
and
put
alcohol.
wild turkey in the wild turkey.
I mean, I know Italians who like put half the bottle of wine in their stomach and the other half in the sauce. By the way, is it weird in church when I see guys with mustaches and wondering if they could speak Italian? I almost want to walk up to, do you know you could speak Italian?
Okay, that's the autism coming out.
Yeah, there you go. I think you're right.
Smoked venison on wick.
I can do it.
Yep, me too.
I love venison. I think I don't get to eat it.
So,
because where are you going to buy it? You always have to know a guy with venison.
Yeah, you
can't just go into a store and buy venison.
No, you can't. Now, my old neighbor would do it, and then he'd bring it to. I'm going to say probably the wrong thing. I was going to say rendering, but it's probably not. It was probably a butcher, and they would. What are you laughing at?
I'll tell you a story in a second.
They would get Slim Jims made, like basically, you had cheese in there. I ate like a pound of this one day. It was so good.
Yeah.
It didn't taste like venison, snapping it and all that. Then burgers. I've had venison burgers, but venison on wick, right? If you did that with the gravy, the au jus sauce.
Yeah,
venison.
Venison's tasty.
It can be. It can be a little gamey at times.
It can be. I've heard, but I mean, like, so here's the thing. So one time, back in St. Olaf, where I grew up, there's these two guys who ran the Little League, and they were nice guys. And one decided to have a brainstorm one night when he's drinking. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start a deer farm.
A deer farm.
He started a deer farm because the very reason. Deer season is only 3 weeks a year.
Yeah.
So you got to get what you get when you get it. And then after that, you can't hunt it anymore. And nobody really sells it in stores. But what if you own a deer farm? Now you can legally kill the deer.
Yeah.
So this deer farm lasted about 6 months. And the reason was because
they kept jumping out.
Yes.
I knew it. How are you going to continue?
Too short. These guys were drinking all the time. It was basically just an excuse to like him and his buddy to start drinking. Yeah, we're starting this deer farm. The deer all ran away.
All right, here's one on a menu that I cannot wrap my head around. You ready for this? Crispy sesame sticky squirrel wings.
I'm willing to try it.
Okay,
when you said wings.
Yeah, I know. It sounds weird because there are the flying squirrels.
Well, there are buffaloes don't have wings.
Right. Yes.
It's a different kind of buffalo.
Same kind of thing. You're on
so
the right.
Is there a town called Squirrel?
There probably is.
Squirrel, New York.
You
gotta try the squirrel wings.
You gotta make these crispy sesame sticky squirrel wings with either the front legs from the squirrel or front and back legs from rabbits. Oh God! See the front leg from squirrel. Like I can't. That looks like a rat to me. That's a rat. I can't do it.
Anything that could have rabies. Like, how would you test Like right now, like one of the
started
reasons
foaming at the mouth.
one
One
of the
oh,
reasons-
shit, damn it.
So one of the reasons we are, quote, told that egg prices are, quote, high
Bird
is
flu.
because of bird flu.
Yeah.
So how do we know that like this stuff has been tested for rabies or whatever?
We don't.
We don't.
Yeah, we don't. But yeah, you're probably okay.
Okay.
You're probably okay.
All right.
The crispy fried coating gets tossed in an Asian-inspired sauce, then
See-
topped with crunchy sesame seeds.
See, I can't do that part.
Oh, you can't?
I'm not a Chinese
See,
food
now
person.
that stuff I could do, but then if I'd be eating them and go, God damn, this is good. And then someone goes, yeah, it's squirrel. I would practically throw up right into the bowl. Like I'd be like, I can't do it.
Plus, as we learned in Christmas Vacation, that squirrel is high in cholesterol. Doesn't that eat these things?
My cholesterol is too high, Clark. Like in some places, though, dog and cat are eaten. Horse, I think there's always been the joke.
We interviewed a guy who
Wasn't there a school like a busted for serving horse meat or something?
Oh, probably. Well, I should name the store's name, but the story is that there is a grocery store chain that's very affordable. And the story is that they kind of mix horse meat into beef.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who,
Yeah.
but they do just enough where it's okay.
Tops never mops. No,
It wasn't them.
I'm teasing. I shouldn't have said that.
But you're on the right track with 4 letters.
Horse, donkey. How about donkey?
That's interesting. Anything with that. If I could picture the animal having a name, I don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
Like a pet.
I got you. Yeah, like Eeyore.
Yeah, right. Woe to me. They're going to eat me and my tail.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, like when you're hungry, you'll eat anything.
Yes. That's true. We will take a moment. Dan,
Yes.
get a little serious here because there's something I came across.
Somebody else die now?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Two deaths in one show. That's enough.
I didn't mean to.
Oh no. I'm still thinking about that though.
What were the 2 deaths?
Well, the first death was TJ.
Yeah, Ace.
Or Ace died.
Yeah.
Okay, Ace. So TJ was the short guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The guy who looked like a surfer.
You got it.
Okay. Yeah, but like the Ace died. I mean, that bothers me.
Who was the other one?
No,
Tiger Woods' mom?
I thought, yeah, she died too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought you were going to mention another death. That's why I said 2 deaths in one show is too much.
In an era of constant digital connection, how can we empower kids to navigate online spaces safely while maintaining their trust and emotional well-being? It is something I think about a lot. That's why I wrote the question.
Does Jameson have a spoon taped to a computer?
No, he does not.
You know why they have that,
Yeah,
right?
well, usually to block the camera, right? Or no, to see if your parents are coming.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a rear view mirror.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sooks, if you're
yeah.
listening, if your kid has a
Yeah.
spoon taped to the monitor,
Yeah.
it means they're watching porn or
No.
something and they're waiting for you to come in.
Right. And I had an appointment before I came here tonight, and I admitted a whole bunch of stuff. I think I had like a porn addiction as a child and all.
Seriously?
Yeah, I did. Oh, some other day when I have my thoughts, because I was going to touch on it tonight, and I'm like, I don't have the thoughts together enough to make it. But yeah, I think molestation and hypersexuality and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I mean that was part of the reason I went to Utah. Was basically I was told I couldn't live under my dad's roof anymore.
Now I can have multiple wives.
Because I got caught with a big glossy porn for like.
And they sent you to Utah.
Well, Park City.
Utah. Shh.
Yeah, I know. All right, we will get into this digital connection and what's happening, because there's an opinion piece that talks about sextortion and what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bigger than I thought. And I'm thinking it's probably happening to someone listening, or someone knows of it, or maybe doesn't even know it's happening.
That's why we're here, to
Under their
educate.
nose. Yeah, we will get to all that right after this. National Fart Day, buddy. Just got to get it in there. I think when you can talk about farts,
Crossfire Hurricanes.
well, gas. Oh, this is
This
gas.
is, yeah, Jumping Jack Flash. Okay. We should do this song.
You did?
It Bridge, yeah.
I would love to see you do this song. I bet it was
It might
great.
happen this August.
Yeah, baby.
We might come out of retirement.
Talk to me.
Working out the details.
All right. I love it.
Also gonna ask to play a surprise party, but we'll figure that out.
All right. Now, gas. Matter of fact, it's a gas. There it is, National Fart Day. And I only say that we know that farts throughout history. I mean, when could a fart change everything? And I was thinking about this.
Like a butterfly effect?
What do you mean by butter? Yes, a little
Butterfly
bit.
flaps its wings, and then the Bills lose the AFC Championship game.
No, but what I was thinking is a tense moment. Like a tense thing. No, but I'm saying like a tense moment.
It diffuses a tense moment?
Yes, I think it does. I think it could really diffuse things. Like, you know, excuse me.
That's right. That's the word to use.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And
I could see that. I could totally see that.
do you know what I mean? Like, I just wonder, like, when a fart has kind of changed things, you know, throughout history.
Oh gosh, now it's gonna hit me like when the show's over. I'm like, hey, you know what? Remember the time?
No, but listen, a single fart started riots, basically, in 44 BC. We did learn that. You can look it up yourself. It is real, right?
In Israel.
It has inspired. Yeah, well,
Or was it Palestine?
I don't know. It was Jewish people and it was Roman
It was
soldiers.
Passover. Like, okay, so Israel was under Roman rule at
You got
that
it.
point.
So-
Jesus hadn't arrived yet.
Yes.
And the Pharisees took their Passover very seriously.
Yes, and then so this Roman soldier pulled down his pants, bent over, and farted, and then said insulting things. And they picked up rocks and started throwing them, and a riot broke out. That happened. We already covered that. Then there was also a poem written in England about the fart in chambers or whatever they were doing on their version of the Senate. It even shaped entertainment. There was the guy who could suck air in and like burp it out, but through his ass. And he became one of the biggest things on Moulin Rouge. He was the highest paid guy. He would blow out candles. He would do all kinds of things.
Oh, well, yeah, because it's funny. Like, have you ever been to a Renaissance festival?
No.
Okay, I hate them
on purpose.
Yes, I went one time with my wife
Uh-huh.
and some friends. I'm like, everyone's dressed up, and I'm wearing my Al Bundy.
Hello, Daniel.
I'm wearing my Al Bundy polk high shirt on, and I got more compliments about my outfit than my wife did. She was upset, but we go there, and the most sold out event was not the jousting. You'd think it would be the jousting. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
No, it was the dirty comedian.
Oh, sure.
He would speak with the British accent.
Yeah.
He was from Canada, and he would tell these old timey stories.
Oh, I like that.
That was like nonstop. They had two of them. They had to rotate them, and people were waiting in line all day.
That's awesome.
To watch these.
Funny?
dudes.
Did you see it?
I thought it was fart humor, but he had some moments. I
Okay.
didn't think he was that funny.
All right.
Everybody else thought he was a riot.
All right.
Maybe
Well,
I'm too highbrow, Bill.
You are.
I guess
You are. I would ask you this.
I'm used to Tom Ulay.
When could a well-timed fart actually have changed the course of history? And you think about
AFC
things.
Championship game.
Well, okay. I don't
If
know
they're going
why.
to review that 4th and 1, and all of a sudden here, see, he clearly got in.
I used to do a thing called fart court, where you would think like you're watching you're watching Larry King, and Larry King, hey, tonight we got, all right, go ahead, Minnesota. That wasn't me. That was the chair.
Well, that
Got a
happened.
leak.
I told that story about being on Channel 13 and
Yes,
at the
yes,
Pilates
yes,
class
yes.
on the vinyl. There's also a story where Hulk Hogan tells this story. WrestleMania 3, he's wrestling Andre the Giant, and this was the biggest event in pay-per-view history at this point.
Yeah.
And Hogan swears to this day he didn't know if Andre was going to let him win the match. And so when the match starts, he goes to slam Andre for the first time, and he falls back. Andre lands on him. The referee goes 1, 2. Andre lets Hogan kick out, and then he farts.
Who did?
Andre. And Andre's farts are like gargantuan. There was and Hogan. So now Hogan, like, it's like his eyes. He can't get up. He can't see Andre because now Andre just lets it all out of the mat. Right? Then there's another story he told where like they're flying on a plane. And Andre needed 2 seats because he's a big dude, and Andre would like pass gas, and the pilots would be yelling at Vince McMahon, like, come on, this is bull crap, man, because they know where to go. And it was like, so like there's 1 2-minute segment in the Andre the Giant documentary on HBO where they just talk about Andre's flatulence.
Really?
Legendary. With the way they describe it. Because you're talking about a 550-pound dude who's 7'7".
I remember being in college and I was in a public speaking class and I had to get up to give a speech. And this wise ass in the back of the room, this was a community college at the time, he lets out a fart that just, I mean, it just reverberates. It's off the chair. It does everything. And they're laughing. I'm laughing. His face is so red, it looks like his whole head's going to pop off. They're laughing. I can't even start my speech. And the guy who's running the class fucking loses it, stands up and goes, if he fails, you fail. So he's screaming to the kid who farted. So a fart can change history. Could have changed the course. Could change my grade. Could have, absolutely. I saw an opinion piece, and it's somewhat concerning and a little more serious, I guess, than the fart humor for sure.
Doge.
No, it is not about Doge. It was actually about the alarming rise of sextortion, which sounds silly, but we have laws in New York State where you can't write revenge porn, I think is the law,
right.
But it would be under sextortion. The case is targeting children and teens, with the FBI reporting over 18,000 cases in 2021, and some law enforcement agencies seeing a 400% increase in recent years. And they're going 18,000 that the FBI knows about. There's probably way more than that.
Oh, yeah.
How many people are not reporting
That's
this?
the tip of the iceberg.
So you've got like 13-year-old boys who somehow an adult got a picture of them naked, and they're going, one guy got thousands of dollars from 3 13-year-old boys to keep quiet. Thousands of dollars. I don't know where the kids got the money, but this was.
There's a story about a kid a few years ago committed suicide over something like
Yes. Yes. There were 2 kids in the U.S. and 1 in Britain.
Yep.
Yeah. Boys.
They couldn't process it. They didn't understand what it was.
Of course not.
They just,
right.
They were so embarrassed they killed themselves.
Of course. Of course.
Awful.
But they befriend minors on social media or gaming platforms, gain their trust, right? Manipulation, flattery, all this stuff, and then sexual content, and then blackmail. And they threaten to expose explicit images. And the consequences are devastating. They are literally for the teen. It's devastating because you don't want, and we're such a, unfortunately, a prudish society that I think those things become bigger than they really are.
Right.
Right. You would never disown your kid because they sent a naked picture to somebody, but the kid doesn't know that.
Yeah, and it takes
on a life of its own.
It's America. Like, you cross the border, like they're showing like the Doors movie. I remember, like, at 17 years old, the Doors movie was on CBC, which is a Canadian broadcasting company, at 8:00 on a Friday night. Monday morning in Buffalo radio stations were all talking about the fact that their kids were watching the Doors movie, full frontal nudity and everything, over the Canadian airwaves, and they couldn't do anything about it because it was free television.
Right?
Because like the border, it came over the border. Everybody
Yeah.
was shocked. They said you would never see the Doors movie on ABC or CBS.
No, right.
You know, but like, so because we have a different idea of what an adult is in this country.
Yes. And I don't know if that we're necessarily right.
I think there's pros and cons to it.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd rather live here than there.
But that even it's a weird thing because I see kids and I always go, when you hear about these teachers, right? And I don't know. The one that always gets me is the women, and I only say that because I think women are smarter than guys,
more mature.
Well, I mean, like in terms of emotional intelligence, like
they have more.
You see a young boy, they're a young boy. You could be their mom, right? And then, or but if it's somebody even 25. Falling for 16, I go, that just seems odd to me. And you're throwing away everything, your livelihood that you spent extra money on to get the master's, at least here. I don't know what other states. So then I see this story out of Southern California where they must have the hottest students because breaking
the law.
And nothing was sextortion on this, but it's something else that comes down. Like, you want to build I always think, like, when it comes to social media, how do you protect your kids from that stuff? You protect your kids from that stuff by having them somehow, and I don't know how to do this exactly, but I'm trying, believe in themselves so much that they're better than that. I don't need to do this because you asked me to. I don't need to get my self-worth from you, creepy.
It's got to come from inside.
You got it. Not, somebody who's pretending to be the 15-year-old girl up the street, but is really a 35-year-old guy living in Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay.
Hey, Jameson.
Yes, you understand what I'm saying? Hey, and then it's like, hey,
Jameson.
how's it going? Hey, Jameson, how's it going? It would be weird, right? So I always the sextortion thing. How do you keep your kid from falling trapped to that? They got to believe they're better than that. They got better things to do with their time. And I'm not sure how you do that other than whenever you see your kid get a win, so to speak, push them. Fuck, that's great, man. Let's do it again is my thing. I don't know how to do this. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be my thing.
Let me ask. Well, go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
Your boys, you have 3 boys.
Yeah.
How old were they when you allowed them a cell phone or smartphone?
So the first guys, it was 13.
Okay. What was the reason behind it?
Because they were going to friends and things, and you needed to find out where they were. And we were just
so society kind of created the need and forced you
society
into
did because I
sooner.
used to take off, and my parents had no idea what I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, we'd be in the woods for days.
We were
come back without bathing.
We were building forts and then stealing the older boys' cigarettes and
My
smoking
father,
those.
did you shower this week?
Yeah. And you'd be running in, brushing your teeth. But but it was also like I grew up in a very rural area where I guess maybe it was more dangerous, but there's more traffic here and there's more this and there's more that.
Men and the beavers were nervous.
And so you could just, after school activities and one guy here. So it was easier at that age to make sure they had a phone, and you had to be 13. And then when Jameson came along, I think he got it at like 10, and Jordan fucking melts down.
Yeah.
And Jordan.
We have a Supreme Court case in this house that suggests that the precedent is 13 years old, Dad.
I don't know how old Jameson was.
I hate my life.
It might have been 9. So Jordan had to be 16 or 17 when Jameson got. That is so unfair. We had to wait till we were 13. And I go, yeah, but this guy's like,
arguing on behalf.
You guys are in high school and we're trying to get you. I got to know where this dude is. And you can buy phones that are just kid phone. I was too lazy. I just gave him the full thing.
There you go. I don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, it's bad. Probably a bad way to be, but
thanks,
I don't know.
Apple.
But 3, see, now, again, when you hear these stories, it's going to be interesting because at least one of the students involved was 16 years old. And I think at 16, it wouldn't be uncommon to hear a 16-year-old of either gender or any gender say they're in love. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
So recently,
you say that again. You don't think that?
I don't think it would be uncommon.
Uncommon. Okay.
Uncommon for anybody 16 years old of any gender.
Oh gosh, I was in love at 2.
Okay.
And 3 and 4 with cartoon characters. Daphne from Scooby Doo.
Okay. Wow.
And Vanna White.
Well, Daphne was kind of hot.
Yeah, she was. Redhead.
Yeah. Look at that. 3 recent arrests in Southern California schools highlighting a disturbing pattern of school employees engaging in sexual misconduct. This guy who's Mariano Hernandez, 32 years old.
Sounds like he could have pitched for the Cleveland Indians.
Oh, he was pitching something. He was throwing a high heater over the plate at 7:30 in the morning. But because he's an elementary school teacher, they're about 5 miles from the high school, and somebody sees the car rocking, and they call the cops. And I wonder if somebody saw a 32-year-old guy with a 16-year-old girl. I don't know.
Mariano Hernandez. He could have hydraulics.
So when they go back and they talk to this kid, they said that they were in a relationship. They had just recently started dating. And you could probably feel where the 16-year-old girl just feels like she's in love.
Because the older guy thinks she's hot. She looks more sophisticated. It's not just the love thing. It's also an ego boost. Now all of a sudden she's the envy of her friend. I mean, it's so many different things.
Of course. And
in her head. Her head. I'm not talking about reality. I'm talking about her mind.
Yes. And that's the part, right?
Yeah.
That we get. So earlier cases involved a 23-year-old coach, Another one, a 37-year-old choir teacher, both arrested for sexual relationships with students, all occurred within months of each other in this one school. It's like, holy crap. So with 3 school employees arrested for sexual abuse in the same area within months, what's really broken here? Is it the screening system for the teachers? Is it the school culture? Are they too friendly with students? Is it our society's ability to protect teens? I don't know. I think it's a coincidence. I really think it's a
want to
coincidence.
say it's a coincidence too. I mean, well, like when they talk about like child molestation, they say there's usually 100 victims before somebody speaks up. I don't know how true that is. I have no idea how they could take that statistic.
Yeah.
I think it's just the ones that like report it, because there's hundreds who don't, but that could also add to that number too. But I think in this instance, it's hard to screen teachers when you try to hire somebody. You got to fill the role.
Hey.
In school, you got because now there's fewer and fewer teachers, right? They're all applying for these jobs.
You got to
find the best, most qualified.
You find a 16-year-old girl to walk in the room in a short skirt, and
right?
She drops something and bend over, and you got to see where does his eyes go.
And then you look at the lady in the back. Nope.
Yep. Yeah. Right. I mean, I think
it's a coincidence.
I think it's coincidence too. I really do. I think that it's completely coincidence.
Unless
and these guys could have been teachers for years and nothing happened. Right? You could start teaching at 24. And now at 32, something happens. I don't know.
Do you remember when Tom Brenneman got busted for? He recently got brought back, but he was working for the Cincinnati Reds, and he didn't realize the cameras were live. They were talking about San Francisco off air, and he says, and I quote, right when they go to the Open, it's the quote fag capital of the world.
Right. Right.
He got fired.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. He was comfortable enough to say that among his peers who he was working with.
Yeah.
In other words, that was the culture. Now bring it back to this school. 3 teachers in a span. Do you think these guys, hey, did you see so-and-so looking pretty cute? And then one guy, all it takes is one guy to say, yeah, I wouldn't mind being 13 again. And then all of a sudden there's this idea, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
In the back of their minds, they may think it's okay. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying that this is because this is what they call groupthink. A person is smart, but people are stupid. Groups are stupid. And then you sink to your lowest common denominator.
It could be
the culture there. And all it takes is 1 or 2 guys.
As I say,
to
is
feel
the
that
culture
fire.
of the school. I don't know.
Now, I think it's probably a coincidence.
Do you remember this happening when you were a kid? Were there any student-teacher affairs that
there was one?
People knew about, but usually it was kept pretty quiet.
There was one, but it was a female substitute teacher and a student who had just graduated. He was already 18.
All right.
So at that point, there was like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then I'll show you some tricks.
Yeah.
One of those types of things. So he could walk around and go, yeah, I poked so-and-so.
Right.
And for those of you who are in Silver Creek listening, you just inbox me and I'll tell you who, if you don't know the story already. But I mean, that was it. That was it. There was never any guys to girls.
But the thing is, like, how do you protect a kid when they think they're in love? Because when they think they're in love or believe they're in love, they are in love.
Yes.
Because they believe that. And so now you're keeping me from the person who's so good to me and so this and that. We've had the case here. There was the coach in Chilai who, and then when they caught, was in a relationship. He wound up getting fired. I think he was a sub, but also a basketball coach or something. And it turned out that they had a real relationship.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I do remember something. Yeah. So we talked about this on the break room. There was a situation back home where we had this weird tech teacher. He was kind of strange. Rumors that he was gay. You're right. He was the mentor for the local Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts, right? He moves to Riverside, California. And one of the tech students who was a couple of years behind ends up moving with him.
Whoa.
And years later, we found out that he would have these sleepovers at his house with these tech boys.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that he went on to propagate pedophilia. He moved to Hawaii and then ended up putting together a website talking about how HIV was a myth.
Really?
Oh yeah. And then we found out that, he was playing patty cake with a couple of the students, but they were of age. They consented to move and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But he kind of like built his own fishing hole and then moved west.
Yeah.
And then he sent a letter. He was dumb enough to write a letter to the guys who stayed behind, talking about how his sexuality, and the superintendent got wind of that letter and sent it to the district attorney. Now, I don't think anything came of it, but that was after I graduated that this situation happened. But it was going on while we were in school. And those of us who were hip to everything knew there was something weird about the guy,
but didn't know what it was.
Didn't know what it was.
Yeah, because most of that stuff is, a good, shouldn't say it that way, but a person who's of age, perpetuating a crime as it is by the law, will say,
grooming.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
You gotta keep this secret. Gotta keep it quiet.
Well, that's
you want to see me again?
That's the Alanis Morissette song, Hands Clean.
Yeah. And so
look it up.
There's it's unfortunate, but the sextortion stuff is bad too, because you got kids and they don't know what's happening. And I always hate these laws that will punish kids for sending naked photos to other basically kids, minor to minor,
right?
Like I all of a sudden I got a naked picture of, well, let's say it was even Jameson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets sent to a girl, and I go, that's a crime, right? And so we talk about that. I mean, I make sure that there's
oftentimes the law uses a sledgehammer to beat a gnat.
Yeah. And I go,
instead of using common sense, but no, that would have cost more money and more time and more lobbyists and more research and more blah, 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 blah. So let's just kill it with a sledgehammer. And then we end up with these situations where, hard cases make bad law. And it's a shame, but this is the way it is.
All right, Danny, what are your predictions for the big game on Sunday?
I'm going to take the Eagles.
You're going to take the Eagles. I think
so the simulations.
Threw it out. I think I took the Chiefs 46 to something.
Oh, did you really? So the simulations that I ran on Gemini, or I'm sorry, with ChatGPT, had the Chiefs winning 55% of the games out of 10,000 games, and the Eagles winning 45% of the games, and they picked the score 26.6 on average to 26 in favor of the Chiefs. I'm going with the Eagles. They have the better roster. I think I've been mulling over this Bills championship game, ABC championship game for a while now. Kansas City played their best game of the season.
Yeah.
And you want to know the kick in the balls, despite the fact that Josh Allen almost turned the ball over 7 times, despite the fact that their best players didn't show up.
They were right
there.
They
almost won the freaking
game. I know. They did.
Now, the Eagles have a great roster. Not a good roster, a great roster. Their weak link is the guy on the sidelines, Nick Sirianni, their head coach.
Right.
But they've been able to keep it together in spite of that douchebag all season long.
Yeah.
This team is better than the team that lost the Super Bowl, barely lost the Super Bowl, thanks to a nice little call in the end zone 2 years ago to the Chiefs. This Chiefs team, and we've said this before, isn't as good as that team that beat that Eagles team back then. I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I'm going to go out on that limb and say the Eagles are going to win. I think it's going to be, I hate picking around football scores because you don't see them anymore, but I'm going to say the Eagles win this 29-27.
Wow. All right. Well, enjoy your squirrel wings and the game.
Yeah, I will.
The big game, buddy. I like that. So what was it again?
29-27.
Oh, okay. That's a close one. I'm looking forward to the commercials.
You know what? The commercials have sucked for years.
I know, but I've been seeing teasers and I haven't seen full commercials yet online.
Matthew McConaughey's in one of them. I know that.
Yeah, but I've seen teasers for commercials, but not the actual. Because usually
you get the whole commercial.
In the past couple of years, by now they were all out.
Tom Prietti would do a whole thing on them. I've seen all the commercials. I'll tell you what's funny.
All right. Well, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the big game. I don't know what we're gonna do podcast wise. I float that all around. Oh, today's only Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm like, am I not coming in tomorrow?
I don't. Yeah, you are if you want to.
Yeah, I'll come in.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay,
we'll do shadow puppets.
That's great. For Dan Barillo, for the dogs, I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you tomorrow. I was going to wish you a happy weekend.